Hi lovies, welcome back to today's video. Long time no see. I have a couple videos coming out this week, so I'm not sure which one of these you're going to see first, but I wanted to sit down, guys, and just talk to you. I've been absent for a while, about 8 days here on YouTube, and I really took that time to just get energetically correct, guys. I have been so drained. These last couple of months have been filled with so much, a lot of shit that I don't come on here and talk about, but obviously you guys know the ending of my relationship. I'm graduating college in May, and just a lot of stuff has been going on and it has been draining. But I wanted to make a video today about not necessarily how to move on from the relationship, but things that I've learned from my breakup that I felt were valuable and things that I wish I would have considered more. So I'm just going to get right into it, guys. So without further ado, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we are going to get right into it. I shine so bright, you might go blind, blind, blind. When I walk through, they close. Alrighty, lovies. So the first piece of advice I have for anybody going through a breakup or being on the other side of it, something I can say is to really enjoy your singleness. That's something that was really difficult for me in the beginning because I couldn't separate myself from the situation. I couldn't separate myself from what my life would have looked like with this person, and I was very much laser focused on the loss that I was going through. I was focused on the loss of the relationship, the loss of a best friend, just having that person that I shared my life with. But something I recognized was throughout the entire relationship, I was giving so much of myself to it that I feel like I got lost in the shadows. So now, being on the other side and really having time to just think and be present in every moment, I've recognized that there are so many areas I can pour into myself. And that's what I've really been focusing on. And I think no contact is wonderful for a lot of people. It works. But personally, for me, guys, no contact was something that I didn't do right away. And I don't regret it because I do feel like I needed that reassurance and validation that the relationship could not work no matter how hard I tried. And it was like a harsh reality check because I thought, you can watch back some of my videos like the trauma bond, the story time of finding out he cheated on Valentine's Day. I had almost a level of optimism that we could still work it out, that despite everything that happened in the ending of our relationship and just the entire relationship, I really focused on the fact that we could still be together. We could find a way to make it work. And what I realized was the breakup was inevitable, right? Given the circumstances of the situation. For those of you who don't know, I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me. All of that good jazz. I try not to bring it up too much because I have so many videos talking about it. But essentially, guys, I just started to really recognize who I am outside of a relationship and loving that version of myself, loving how free I am financially, emotionally, mentally. It's like relationships can be beautiful when they are healthy and when they are equally, what is the word I'm looking for, guys? When two people pour into each other equally and one of you is not doing more work. I always felt like I had to take on the burden of this person, and our whole relationship kind of surrounded him. Everything I did was for him, and being out of that, I now recognize how much better my life is doing things for myself, how much happier I am. I wake up and I don't feel stressed. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's talking to this person or that person. Like, that attachment that I had to him is gone. And truthfully, if you would have asked me a couple of months ago if I would be here right now, today, explaining things like this, I wouldn't have. And it's crazy, guys. It's so crazy because I spent so much time with this person and I really brainwashed myself into thinking that my life forever would be revolving around this relationship and not having it anymore, I moved on a lot quicker than I ever thought I could. And I don't mean moving on with another person. I just mean moving on from the relationship, leaving the past in the past, not having any ill feelings towards it anymore, where I don't wake up and think of like, oh my gosh, he was doing this, this, and that, and I never knew. In the beginning, of course, you go through all of those emotions, you go through all of those feelings. You're going to sit and you are going to question everything because it's fresh and it's like the worst possible betrayal of life, right? So you're like sitting here and you're trying to figure out why. And once I stopped trying to figure out why and just understood that this was the reality now, this was my new reality, my life is no longer tied to this person, it was very freeing. So I guess my piece of advice, guys, would be to not only enjoy your singleness, but stop going back into a mental space where you're trying to figure out why the relationship did not work. It didn't work for whatever reason it is. It looks differently for a lot of people. But stop trying to focus on where it went wrong and start focusing on how your life is going to be better because of it. And once I was able to do that, that emotional, physical, mental connection I had with this person started to fade. And it sounds really sad because, like I said, when you spend so much time with a person and you think about how you're going to spend your life with them, it sounds like such a far idea to ever be in a mental space where you're no longer attached to them. But once you start to focus on yourself, guys, genuinely, like, surround yourself with your friends, with your family, pour into yourself, that connection is going to fade and you're going to really recognize it for what it truly was. And that was the hardest part. So I think, guys, it's important to go through the motions, go through all of the feelings, go through the sadness, the anger, the depressy thoughts, feel it. Feel it to its full intensity. Ask those questions, why it went wrong, all of that. Do whatever you need to do so that when you are done feeling those things, you don't ever revisit it. I don't revisit the thoughts of our relationship anymore. I thought I always would. I thought it was something, like, oh my gosh, my Valentine's Day is going to be terrible forever because of what happened on that day, because of what I found out on that day. And what I've realized is it's like perception is your reality, right? So if you put yourself in a mental space where you are constantly thinking about the negative things, you're going to always feel negative. But if you use it as a learning experience and you think of, okay, what ways can I move differently? How can I be different to avoid a situation like this in the future? It's very freeing. So yeah, guys, I don't want to ramble too much about that, but definitely enjoy your singleness. Enjoy being on your own, enjoy the new experiences, not having to depend on anyone, not having anyone depend on you, not having your emotions tied to somebody. It's the most freeing thing ever. And I feel like I just feel lighter. I look lighter. I'm happy for the first time in a long time. And I thought that this relationship made me happy, but I realized how much time I spent in it insecure and worried about the actions of this person, because intuitively I knew that they weren't right. I knew that this person wasn't treating me right, and I painted it in so many different ways so that I could justify staying. And although this was like a very blatant reason to leave the relationship, cheating is very just, it's a very acceptable reason to leave a relationship. My biggest piece of advice is don't wait for it to get to that point. If you feel like something is not right, it's not. Okay? And that's something I will never again doubt in my life. I'm never going to doubt that intuitive feeling that we have as women that tells you when something is right, not right. That tells you when somebody is giving their energy somewhere else. I knew that. I knew that from the day we started dating because, like I said, guys, in my previous videos, it took a very long time for this person to want to commit. And even after he committed, it didn't change any of my feelings. It didn't change those feelings of insecurity and feelings like he wasn't committed to me fully. I always had those feelings, and I simply just didn't have any specific point to look to. I didn't have any evidence to be like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They were just all small things that could easily be explained away by him. And so I didn't feel like I really ever had a reason to not give the relationship a chance. But after everything came to the light, I started to understand and I started to see things that I saw all along. It's just like now I have evidence to point to. Now I have a specific moment in time that you acted on things that I knew you were, that I just couldn't, you know what I mean? That I just couldn't use. I couldn't defend it. And so I stayed in this relationship, I think, for too long. And it's because I put so much pressure on it. And that's another thing, guys. If you have to put pressure on a relationship, if you have to put pressure on a person to commit to you, stop wasting your time and either focus on yourself or go find somebody who wants what you want. Never again am I going to get into a relationship with a person who doesn't have the same goals as me, who doesn't have the same vision of a committed relationship as I do. Because I made that mistake thinking that this person was worth me sacrificing my boundaries and sacrificing the things that were most important to me just to have them in my life. Never again will I do that. I'm always going to consider myself first. Always, okay? And I want you guys to do the same because it's so easy. I've talked about this before. It's so easy to paint those red flags green. It's so easy to lessen your boundaries for the person that you think you want to be with. Boundaries that you maintain for your friends, for your family, for potential partners, right? When we are single, we have all of these expectations, we have all of these standards, and someone can easily come into your life and you look at them and you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm a little too harsh on this, or maybe if I just try things like this, it's not that bad. And we find ourselves lessening our boundaries for people who are not deserving of that, for standards that you never would have lessened. You know what I mean? Like, do not lessen your boundaries for a relationship. If you have to do that, it's not the relationship you need to be in. And that's something I wish I would have understood. And it took me going through this shit, being at the darkest, deepest, lowest parts of my life to understand that what I was doing wasn't healthy. And I will never approach relationship the same way I did this one. And because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The next relationship I get into, and I'm telling you guys, it's probably going to be a very long time, but the next relationship I get into, 1000%, is going to be with a person who we sit down and we talk about what our intentions are, what our commitment levels are, what commitment looks like for you. All of those things, we are having that conversation on the first date, okay? Because I cannot be wasting my time. I have too much to lose. I have too much shit going on in my life, good things, not bad things, just too much, just so much. I'm graduating college. I'm stepping into my career path. Too much to lose to waste any more of my time on a person who was not worth it in the beginning. And that's why I can sit here and have no hard feelings towards this person anymore, because in my heart and in my soul, I know that there is not a relationship for us ever again. And I've accepted that, and truthfully, I've stopped wanting it, because once you detach emotionally from a toxic person or a person who has hurt you, you really, I don't want to say that the love changes, but the love changes, guys. Like, it really does. I used to never think it was possible for me to ever love this person any less until I emotionally detached myself from them. I separated my energy from theirs, and now I don't want to say that I don't have love for this person, because I think a part of my heart will always love them, but I'm not in love with them anymore. And it makes it a lot easier for me to wake up every day and go on and into my life and not feel pressured, not feel like I have to be with this person. You know what I mean? So that emotional detachment for me didn't come from no contact. It came from me trying to make it work, and God showing me over and over and over again, this is why it can't work. This is why it ended. And that's what I felt it. Guys, I felt it so strongly every day when I wake up, when I pray at night, when I'm journaling. A constant feeling of God telling me, this is not for you. I ended this for a reason. Stop trying to go back. And so I'm done. I'm done trying to go back. I'm done trying to make it work, because it's never going to, guys. When you go back to a relationship that was meant to end, you're going to find yourself looking at it differently and being like, oh my gosh, like everything is going wrong. We can't communicate. All we do is argue. We are never on the same page. It's like a wave of emotions. One day you're happy and feeling like, okay, we're getting better. And the next day it's like, no, like, oh my gosh, you did A, B, C, and D. How can I ever look at you the same? And that is on purpose, okay? You're not supposed to go back and try and fix something that is broken. You're not. Learn from it. Stop thinking you know best. Stop thinking that your judgment is sound, okay? Because it wasn't. And I hate to say that, because I'll never be a person who sits here and is like, you were cheated on and that is your fault. Never, ever. But I do think 98% of the time there are a trillion little, small, minuscule red flags that we ignore from the very beginning that pointed to this kind of behavior, and we could have protected ourselves. So for you at the end of this to go through all of that shit and think that your judgment is just so sound enough that you should give it another try, I'm here to tell you, don't do it. Your judgment is not correct, okay? Trust your intuition, yes, but don't mistaken your feelings for intuition. Don't mistaken your emotional, how would I word it, guys? It's like, you have to take your feelings out of it. Intuition is a feeling, yes, it's a gut feeling, but it's something that you don't ask for. It's something that just happens. And I think a lot of times, especially as women, we mistake our emotional connections and feelings as intuition, and it's not the same thing. They're separate, okay? Chances are your intuition is never going to tell you to stay in a situation that is not good for you. Your feelings might, but your intuition never will. Your intuition is there to protect you. It's there to, be that blaring alarm that's like, red flag, red flag, red flag, get out, get out, get out. It's never going to tell you to go back to a situation that broke you. It's never going to tell you to maintain a friendship that hurt you. It's never going to tell you to be surrounded by people who are not good for you. That's not your intuition, okay? That's your emotional response. That's your emotional connection. That's your inability to separate your feelings from what is good for you, okay? So when I say don't trust your judgment when they tell you to go back, I'm telling you, you cannot make decisions based off of your feelings. Think logically. Think, this was your little sister, or this was your mom, or this was a close friend. How would you tell them to react? What decision would you tell them to make? Chances are you would tell them to walk the fuck away. Chances are you would look at them and be like, well, if you're feeling like this, and this, and this, and this, and being in this relationship makes you feel so negatively, fucking leave. That's what you would tell them. And that's what you need to tell yourself, okay? So like, in a way, looking at yourself in the third party kind of way, third person perspective, look at the facts, okay? Take your feelings out of it. And it's hard to do, because a lot of us just want to be so wrapped up in how we feel, in our emotions, and it feels right, or it used to feel right, and feelings this, feelings that. A lot of times feelings lead to you making poor decisions, okay? Lead with your heart, not your head. No, it's time to start leading with your head and not your heart, because when you led with your heart, it got you here. Sometimes your heart doesn't know what is best, okay? Because it's, like I said, feelings, emotions. It's our emotional connection to people. It's our desire for love. It's that romanticized feeling of the world that you just want to tap into, and you just want to think in your heart, this person can change, or this person is capable of more. And maybe they are. It doesn't mean you need to stay, okay? You can love somebody from a different address. You do not have to stay in the same situation that had you fucked up. You can love them and walk away still. It doesn't change the love you have for them. It just changes the love you have for yourself. And when you walk away from somebody who you loved, okay, but broke you in ways that you can't repair, that is you taking a step towards loving yourself more. And that is the most important thing you can do for yourself, for your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Don't go back to a situation that had you fucked up. Don't go back to a person who made you question yourself. No matter how much you loved them, you have to love yourself more. And you have to make those difficult decisions and enjoy being single for a while, okay? It's gonna suck, okay? It's gonna suck for a long time. You're gonna miss the memories, you know, the moments, the having somebody there. But I promise you guys, having yourself, being able to rely on yourself, being comfortable with everything you have going on in your life is so much, it's just so much better. It's so much more rewarding than staying in a situation because you love them or because you don't want to let them go or because you had this version of a life that could have been yours, but it's not yours anymore. You know what I mean? The relationship ended for a reason. It's no longer your burden to carry. Let it go. Let that person find happiness in someone else. Let that person find whoever it is that they can act right for if they can, okay? Because people can change, right? I say this all the time. People can change. He can change. That man can change, but not for you. For the next woman, okay? Your heartbreak, you pouring your heart out to this person, yeah, it's going to affect him. It's going to affect him probably for the rest of his life. And I don't want to say most likely, it's very possible that he changes and he becomes better and he never treats anybody like he treated you and he'll forever be changed and be better. But not for you. It's impossible. I feel it is virtually impossible for that change to take place within the same relationship because one of you is going to have resentment. And chances are it's going to be you. Okay? It would have been me. Had I stayed in this relationship, I would have been the resentful one. Okay? Because here I was investing all of my time thinking this was the man of my dreams and he was making every other girl feel like that. You know what I mean? And it's like I would have never been able to get past it. Even if he was changing, even if he was actively doing everything he could to make the situation better, in my mind, I would always feel resentful because I can forgive, I can never forget. And it makes me feel like genuinely, guys, like my forgiveness wouldn't have been much had we stayed in a relationship. And I say that because when you're surrounded by the same energy that fucked you up, okay, it's always on your mind. You cannot ever truly move on from it. And so just one of those things, guys. Sometimes relationships just have to fucking end. You just have to let it go. Feel the pain, feel the hurt, but don't go back. Please don't go back. Please don't go back. And if you do go back, use it as a way to educate yourself, okay? Really take notes of how you feel in this relationship. Are you really happy after the fact? Are you? Does being back with this person truly make you genuinely happy, joyous, feeling like the best version of yourself? Chances are it doesn't. Chances are you're going to carry the burden of whatever ended the relationship into the new one, okay? And it's going to make you resent this person eventually. And in my eyes, I would rather look at the relationship for what it was, love it for the happy moments, hate it for all of the ways it went wrong, use it as a learning experience, and at least I can look at this person and be like, I don't fucking hate them. I don't despise them. We weren't meant for each other. He was not capable of being the person I needed. We were not of the same caliber. It's easier for me to do that, for me to walk away from the situation knowing I wanted better at a certain time, knowing I wanted this person in my life forever at a certain time. I no longer do anymore. No hard feelings. Don't hate them. Wish nothing but the best for them, but they're not my person. I'd much rather have that than me stay in a situation trying to force it to work to the point where I develop a hate towards this person and a negative feeling, and I no longer have that same amount of respect I used to have for them because I stayed when I shouldn't have. I stayed too long, and it forced me to be resentful because this person didn't have a fair chance, and I didn't give myself a fair chance by staying in the relationship. And sorry, y'all, I say all of that just to tell you my main point of this video is just to tell you guys, move on. Not by moving into another relationship. Be single, enjoy being single, take a few months, see your friends, see your family, meet new people, go out to bars, go out to clubs, go out to whatever it is that makes you happy, go on a vacation. free your mind, learn what it is like to live life without this person so you can remember who the fuck you were before. So you can remember who you were before the relationship. You can remember the level of independence you had, the amount of love you had for yourself, the amount of respect you had for yourself. Remember those moments, okay? And the only way you can do that sometimes is by being separated from the person who made you lose it in the first place, okay? And for a lot of us, it's a relationship, okay? Because at the end of the day, say what you want about whatever you want. Women, I genuinely feel like love differently. We show love differently, and a lot of us give all of us to the person that we love, and we lose ourselves along the way. So it's now your time to wake up, do everything you can to pour into yourself, because you've spent years pouring into other people, pouring into that person. And it's time for you to take your power back and to be fucking happy, genuinely. Find joy in life outside of this person. And I promise once you do that, you are going to be untouchable. There is no person that can come into your life and take that happiness that you have, because it came from yourself. It came from you achieving the goals you had for your life, for you finding purpose in something other than another person, you know? And so when you're confronted in the future with a new relationship, you're going to stand on business. You're going to have your standards and your boundaries, and you are never going to lessen them, because there's no possible way you could. Because you've seen the worst of the worst. You've been with the worst of the worst. You have felt your lowest ever, sitting there contemplating life, wondering what the fuck is the point if I can't be with this person. You've been there. You've felt that. You've spent time now, rebuilding it. You're confident in who you are. You remember who the fuck you used to be. You became better. And now no man, no woman can come into your life and shake that up. You're going to stand firm in your boundaries and your faith in the things that you want. You're not going to allow anybody to come into your life and offer less than that, okay? So take the time to just be genuine, to be happy, why am I saying that? Take as much time as you can to fall in love with yourself again, to fall in love with who you are now, because you're different. Everyone changes, especially after a breakup. You're not the same girl you were before, not the same guy you were before, and that's fine. But you can be better, and the only way I feel you can do that is if you separate your energy from this person's. But anyways, guys, that's just my TED Talk. I just wanted to come on here and give you guys that, because it's on my heart today, it's on my mind, and I love you guys so much, like literally so much. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, leave some video recommendations down below if you have any, what kinds of videos you want to see from me. Got a lot of stuff pre-recorded for you guys coming out this week that I'm really excited about, so please make sure you comment, whatever, algorithm, if you want, anything for engagement so we can keep this channel going and I can keep making wonderful content for you guys. But yeah, guys, also let me know how you like this new background. I like it. It's giving me very calming aura vibes. Yeah, but that's all I have for today. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.